Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. So today we are back with the following content of list. So let's discuss today's analysis. The first topic says about the reservation in policy cannot continue indefinitely. Okay, so recently there was a judgment made by the Supreme Court in which the Supreme Court, in a majority verdict, upholded the constitutional validity of the EWS, that is the economically weaker section quota. And the Supreme Court said about that the constitutional bench, which declared the provisions of this EWS quota being valid, was held upon 3:2 majority, which upholded the 103 Constitutional Amendment Act, which was introduced. And basically, it said about the 10% reservation of the EWS in education and public employment. So now, if I say about that, what is this 103 Amendment Act 2019? So it provided for the creation of a special EWS quota for reservation in employment and educational institution. And this act inserted clauses 15 clause 6 and clause 16 clause 6. Okay, so it was granted based on the recommendation of a commission headed by Major General retired S.R. Sinho. बहुत important है, याद रखना ये recommendation committee, S.R. Sinho. Okay, so it enables both the center and the states to provide the reservation for this EWS category people, and the criteria of the people being who are not covered under the existing reservations of backward class, scheduled tribes, and whose gross annual family income is below ₹8 lakh per annum. ठीक है, और यहाँ पे 2-3 एक्सक्लूजन क्राइटेरिया भी है कि persons whose family owns or possesses any of the following assets shall be excluded. Supposedly, if a person acquires 5 acres of agricultural land and above, residential flat of around 1000 square kilometer, residential plot of around 100 square yards, okay, and residential plot of around 200 square yards and above, तो इनको यहाँ पे एक्सक्लूजन है. ठीक है, तो अभी यहाँ पे जो मेन लीगल चैलेंजेस था बिफोर द सुप्रीम कोर्ट on this EWS quota is that first, whether this 103 amendment is violative of the basic structure or not. Second, whether the amendment is violative of the basic structure for excluding the poor among the SC, STs or OBCs. And third, whether the amendment is violative of the basic structure for breaching the 50% ceiling limit. So now, the majority of the judges जिन्होंने यहाँ पे पक्ष में आए थे, ठीक है, so the judges being Justice Maheshwari, Trivedi and Pardiwala. And who went against it? It is basically Justice Lalit, that is our Chief Justice of India, and Justice Bhatt. Okay, so these three people, okay, so we could see that they have observed that the reservation is an affirmative action measure that not only for social and economically backward classes, but also for some of the disadvantaged sections of the society. So we could see that the minority judges have struck down this EWS quota on the following grounds: that it is meant for rectifying the underrepresentation of the social and educationally backward classes, and it is not a tool for financial upliftment. So therefore, यहाँ पे जो जजेस का व्यू आया है अबाउट रिजर्वेशन, यहां से एक बात समझ में आता है कि दिस पॉलिसी ऑफ रिजर्वेशन इन एजुकेशन एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट कैन नॉट कंटिन्यू फॉर एन इनडेफिनेट पीरियड. तो दिस रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी यहाँ पे बोला गया है कि इसको एंड होना चाहिए, बिकॉज इट वाज स्टार्टेड बाय आवर फादर ऑफ आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बी आर अम्बेडकर साहब. उन्होंने 10 साल के लिए शुरू किया था, बट बिकॉज ऑफ सम ऑफ द मोटिव्स ऑफ एवरी गवर्नमेंट ये हर साल इट इज डायरेक्टली रिन्यूड. So at the end of even 75 years of India's independence, India needs to revisit the system of reservation in the larger interest of the society. And this is a step forward towards transformative constitutionalism. तो यहाँ पे वही बात बोला गया है कि a similar time limit for a reservation could be way forward, leading to an egalitarian, casteless and classless society. जब ये कास्ट सिस्टम हट जाएगा ना, जब ये रिजर्वेशन सिस्टम हट जाएगा ना, उस टाइम देखना इंडिया को, उस टाइम इंडिया could realize its potential of being an egalitarian, casteless and classless society. आज तो ये जजेस हो गया. जैसे if I say about the judges, so like दोनों जजेस ने, जैसे the 5 bench judges, they accepted that reservation should be provided on the economic data. Okay, even वी कुड सी दैट यहाँ पे जो 3 जजेस है, इन्होंने बोला कि ईडब्ल्यू रिजर्वेशन एक्सीज 50% लिमिट, तो ये क्या सही है? तो उन्होंने बोला हाँ ठीक है सही है। लेकिन एक ने बोला नहीं, ब्रीचिंग द 50% लिमिट हियर विल बी अ गेटवे फॉर फर्दर कंपार्टमेंटलाइजेशन। तो वही डिफरेंस था यहाँ पे। तो इसीलिए आज यहाँ पे अपहोल्ड कर दिया गया 103rd अमेंडमेंट को, और इसीलिए वी कैन सी ईडब्ल्यूएस स्टिल कंटिन्यूइंग टुडे इन आवर कंट्री। ठीक है, तो ये न्यूज था अबाउट दिस ईडब्ल्यूएस। बेसिकली न्यूज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, याद रखना। नेक्स्ट, एनपीआर नीड्स टू बी अपडेटेड। तो ये एनपीआर क्या है? एनपीआर इज द नेशनल पॉपुलेशन रजिस्टर. So the Ministry of Home Affairs has recently highlighted the need to upgrade this NPR, okay, that is across the country. So what is this NPR? It is a database containing the list of all usual residents of the country. Who is a usual resident? So a usual resident for the purpose of NPR is a person who has resided in the place for 6 months or more and intends to reside there for another 6 months or more. And what is the basic objective of this NPR? So यहाँ पे objective है is to provide a comprehensive identity database of people residing in this country. So ये generate कैसे करते हैं? It is generated through the house-to-house enumeration during the house listing phases of the census. So the NPR was first collected in 2010 and then updated in 2015. So today we could see that the NPR is a very significant data because it will streamline the data of all residents across various platforms. For instance, मैं अगर बोलूं, it is common to find a different date of birth of a person on different government documents. So NPR will help them eliminate that. Also, it will help the government to formulate its policies better and to aid the national security, which will in turn target the government beneficiaries in a better way. And also further cut down the paperwork and red tape in a similar manner that Aadhaar has done. तो यहाँ पे एक वन आइडेंटिटी कार्ड का जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है, which has been recently floated by the government, तो ये यहाँ पे जो डुप्लीकेशन है इसको बचाने का काम करते हैं। ओके, थ्रू द, क्योंकि आज हम लोग का बहुत सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स है, बी इट द आधार कार्ड, वोटर आईडी कार्ड, बैंकिंग कार्ड, पासपोर्ट, तो यहाँ पे अभी जो हम लोग एक वन आइडेंटिटी कार्ड के, जैसे आजकल सब जगह वन नेशन वन कार्ड, वन नेशन वन पेंशन, ओके, तो ये जैसे है वन नेशन वन फर्टिलाइजर्स और समथिंग, ठीक है, तो ये जितने भी है इसको हम लोग को सब जगह लाना पड़ेगा, तभी जाके हम लोग का जो ये डुप्लीकेशन है ये बंद होगा। ठीक है, सो देयरफॉर दिस एनपीसी इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट डॉक्यूमेंट, बेसिकली जो यहाँ पे डाटास देते हैं कि हाउ proportion of people who are basically the usual residents can be very well data or can be very well identified in the form of a database. ठीक है, तो ये यहाँ पे एनपीआर के बारे में छोटा सा एक न्यूज था। नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं, द ब्लैक सी ग्रेन इनिशिएटिव। ओके, सो इफ आई गो फॉर दिस ब्लैक सी ग्रेन इनिशिएटिव, तो यहाँ पे ये न्यूज में क्यों है? रिसेंटली रशिया रिजॉइन द ब्लैक सी ग्रेन इनिशिएटिव। ठीक है, सो यहाँ पे व्हाट इज दिस ब्लैक सी ग्रेन इनिशिएटिव? सो इट this initiatives endeavors to tackle escalating food prices emanating from supply chain disruptions because of Russian exchange in the world bread basket. Okay, so this deal is brokered by the United Nations and Turkey, was signed in Istanbul in July 2002. But today we could see that Russia is not interested to go ahead with this deal. Okay, so लेकिन अभी फिर से यहाँ पे हम लोग देखा गया है कि Russia has rejoined the Black Sea Grain deal. So what is the objective? So initially the objective is to supply a 120 days, okay, provide for a safe maritime humanitarian corridor for Ukraine exports. And the central idea was to calm the markets by ensuring an adequate supply of grains, thereby lifting their food price inflation. ठीक है, so आज ये जो यूक्रेन है, ये यूक्रेन is amongst the largest exporters of wheat, maize, rapeseed, sunflower seeds, sunflower oil globally. And its access to the deep sea ports in the Black Sea enables it to directly approach Russia as well as Europe. So now, if I see about the initiative, which alone cannot address the global hunger, so यहाँ पे रशिया का फिर से शामिल होना, it's a very good initiative, okay, because through this initiative we can see the reappearance of the economical system, which basically is torn down by the war that is going on between Russia and Ukraine. ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं, एडाइकल्स मिनी फॉरेस्ट। तो ये एक फॉरेस्ट है, एडाइकल इज बेसिकली अ विलेज, ओके, which is close to like in the state of Tamil Nadu. Okay, so this Edaikal village which is located in the Viluppuram district of Tamil Nadu. यहाँ पे एक IAS officers थे, ठीक है? That is the IAS officer's name is B.K. Ashok Vardhan Shetty. So he in 1994 he uh, went ahead with a project of making a thick wooden area which is now home to fauna like deer, mongoose and snakes. Okay, तो यहाँ पे देख सकते हो कि like a huge forest is basically created through by this man and after around 28 years. तो अभी यहाँ पे जहाँ पे जो जिला अधिकारी है तो इनके द्वारा एक like मैसेज सेंड किया गया है, okay, to this man who started the planting of this fauna in to started the planting of this garden on the basis of the Kew Garden of London of UK. तो उसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे ये सेटलमेंट किया गया था, ठीक है, अंडर द सोशल फॉरेस्ट्री स्कीम. ओके, so आज after 28 years the area has become a dense mini forest and is now home to wide varieties of deer, mongoose and snakes. ओके, सो यहाँ पे वो खुशी के मारे अभी रो पड़े थे, ठीक है. सो दिस इज डायरेक्टली एन इंस्पिरेशन फ्रॉम एवरी other populations, from every other persons who is basically working for the development of this ecological imbalance today what we are creating. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे ये जो गार्डन्स खिल के आया है तो ये थोड़ा गार्डन्स बहुत न्यूज में है तो देख लेना थोड़ा, ठीक है, बिकॉज दिस इज अ गार्डन बेसिकली इन लोकेटेड in the Viluppuram district, and the Edikal forest is known as this, and this is basically located in the state of Tamil Nadu. ठीक है, तो ये जान लेना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. Then COP27 Conference of Parties. So we know about that the United Nations General Secretary General addressed the world leaders at the opening of the COP27. Okay, that is organized in Egypt. Okay, so यहाँ पे उनके द्वारा बोला गया है कि like we are on a highway to climate hell. Okay, so recently यहाँ पे जो key highlights है of this issue, तो यहाँ पे बोला गया है we should need a climate solidarity pact. Okay, because यहाँ पे nations worldwide are coping with increasingly intense natural disasters that have taken thousands of lives. Okay, and this year you can see the examples from this devastating floods in Nigeria and Pakistan to droughts in Kenya and Somalia. So this climate solidarity pact, where developed and emerging economies work together to accelerate energy transition, is a must for a better future, as art first approaches a tipping point that will make climate chaos irreversible. Okay, तो यहाँ पे adaptations के ऊपर भी बात बोला गया है कि how this whole nation should actually adapt, okay, and how they should go for a rapid development with even taking care of the environment, of even taking care of the ecology. So यहाँ पे बोला गया है also about the countries who should agree to phase out the use of coal, which is one of the most important fuel, one of the most important carbon intense fuel, and this should be removed by 2040 globally. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे बताया गया है. So on loss and damage, तो यहाँ पे बोला गया है कि like the COP27 must agree on a clear time-bound roadmap for loss and damage that delivers effective institutional arrangements for financings. ठीक है, तो ये जो समिट ऑर्गेनाइज किया गया था तो यहाँ पे ऐसी बातचीत हो रहा था कि व्हाट कैन बी डू, व्हाट कैन नॉट बी डू. ओके, तो यहाँ पे मेनली फोकस किया अबाउट द idea of going in for a carbon neutral, of idea of going in for a climate solidarity pact for each and every country in this region. ठीक है, तो ये था अबाउट दिस COP27 which is held in Egypt. ठीक है, lastly editorial economics exclusion. So it's again come basically from this thing of reservation. So why this article is about, it talks about the recent Supreme Court judgment that declared the 10% EWS reservation to be constitutionally valid. Okay, so it is very much important and relevant for your polity. Okay, basic structure of the polity. तो यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा important है. Now यहाँ पे what's the crux of this article? Overall यहाँ पे क्या लिखा गया है? So in 2019 we know about that the government amended the Indian Constitution by the 103 CAA. Okay, and the provision was added in clause 6 of article 15 and article 16 of the 6th constitution. So this clause provides the economically weaker sections, okay, the access to educational and public institutions. Okay, and there were a lot of petitions filed against this amendment to review it constitutionally. So as a result, the constitutional bench has directly said that it declared it valid with a margin of around 3:2 margin. So now if you see about that, यहाँ पे और एक केस का बात आता है, that is the Indira Sahani case of 1982, where the SC struck down a provision and that for 10% reservation for economically backward structure introduced by the Congress regime, and the SC said about that the government broke the 50% upper single limit in the same case. Okay, so now Basically, if you see about that, this is a paradigm shift change in the affirmative action policies of the government. And the government should consider both opening up the EWS quota to all communities and keeping the income criterion much lower than the ceiling, perhaps at the same level as the income tax slab, so as to identify the creamy layer, so that poorer sections of the communities, if they are crowded out on the OBC or SC or ST merit list, could still avail of some residual benefits under the EWS scheme. ठीक है, तो एक छोटा सा न्यूज था, बिकॉज आई हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस दिस न्यूज बेसिकली इन द वेरी फर्स्ट पॉइंट. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे मैंने थोड़ा डिस्कस कर लिया था. ओके, तो सुन लेना पहले वाला थिंग. ठीक है, तो ये छोटा सा आर्टिकल था अबाउट द ईडब्ल्यूएस कोटा. ठीक है, सो दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडे. वी कुड सी अबाउट दिस 5 नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. प्लीज डू अटेम्प्ट दिस एमसीक्यूज एंड सेंड इट टू अस. You will get the answers of this MCQs in tomorrow's PDF. Also, you have got a means answer. Please do attempt and also send it us. You can join our Telegram channel as well as our WhatsApp channel from the link given below. Also, to avail our offers and to go for all our programs, please do join the channels for the latest updates. So that's all for today. Thank you and Jai Hind.